like the nervous system overrules your digestive and all the other systems. And these people were chronically sick, but they had the best lifestyle, quote unquote. That is so crazy that some people are so stressed to be so healthy that they end up being sick.
You are your own greatest ally or enemy. Awaken the warrior within you. Take charge of your inner kingdom. Welcome to the Warrior Growth Academy podcast.
Welcome to the Warrior Growth Academy podcast, where we build our mental strength in order not just to survive, but to thrive in this life. In order to thrive, we need to take care of what's in the core of our body. And one of those elements, it's not the only one, but one of the foundations is the gut health. And we're going to dig into this because our guest today is a naturopath. Zelata, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I am too. So, before getting into the weeds of gut health and how the body functions, how we process food, all the very interesting things, tell me how you got to this field. Because were you born a naturopath and passionate about the gut health?
No, quite the opposite, actually. I had gut issues my whole life. I was constantly bloated. And I was always told it was normal. Yeah, it's normal. It's okay. So I rode that wave until it wasn't okay anymore. Until I was 6 weeks pregnant with my first child. And I looked 6 months pregnant. I could not hide my pregnancy. Like, I was this big. And I'm like, hold on. I'm like, something isn't normal about this. And if I'm going to take care of myself, now is the right time because I'm growing a human being in my body. Like, my body has to be good. It has to be better. I have to understand it. So I went to see a naturopath and I was like, hey, I'm bloated. And she was like, no problem. I'm like, okay. She really didn't think that it was normal. She said it was common, but it's not normal, and that it was very easy to fix it. So she gave me a protocol. When I looked at it, I was like, it can't be that simple. I'm like, no. She's like, yeah, come back in 3 weeks. I'm like, okay, I will. And I did. In 3 weeks, I was no longer bloated. I had a lot of energy. I was going to the bathroom regularly. I wasn't puffy anymore. And I just couldn't understand it. I was like, the only thing that I did different is that I changed my diet. And it wasn't even a diet. It was just like ditching certain things, combining other things together. Like, it wasn't that difficult. And after 3 weeks, I went back and I said, I need more information. Like, what did we just do? What just happened? She's like, nothing. You just went back to eating whole foods and you removed inflammation, right? Like, given the right tools, the body can really heal itself. I never took any medication. I never took any supplements. It was just like via food. So I was like, okay, this is very interesting. It had a great impact on my life, on my health. And then that's how I found my purpose. I was like, oh, you know what? I want to help people thrive, not just survive. So that was when I was like 9 weeks pregnant. So that was in August. I gave birth in March. And in September, I enrolled to become a naturopath. I was like, I want to learn I'm like, okay, we changed food, but it's not just that. Like, how does the body work? How do the systems work? How to optimize it? And yeah, that's how I did it.
Amazing. I'm pretty sure there's differences between people, maybe lifestyle and also other elements, but can you give me a few of kind of elements of that protocol just to see how simple it is?
Yeah, of course. So obviously we have to remove everything that's inflammatory. And I'm going to ask you, what do you think is inflammatory to our body?
For sure, processed food.
Okay. Yeah.
Sugar, which is often processed, but sugar, especially the fake sugar.
Yeah, like not the one from fruits, right?
Yeah.
Like the sugar. Like,
exactly. Yeah. Alcohol. I guess that's it.
So yeah, you have anything that's processed. So we can talk about like bread, pasta, anything that literally comes in a package that's processed.
That has ingredients on a paper or a sticker.
Exactly. Things that, you could put in your cupboard and it'll still be good in like 6 months from now.
Yeah.
This always has to raise a question because when you buy an apple, if you leave it for a couple of days, it won't be good because it's real food, right? So That's always a good indication. So you spoke about alcohol, processed foods, obviously sugar. Coffee can be quite inflammatory for some people. So yeah. Also, the problem with coffee, I'm not against coffee. I actually love coffee. It's like my little treat. But it's just that a lot of people use it to go to the bathroom. And that is not the proper way to go to the bathroom. Like, your body should be doing that on its own. So yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
properly hydrated, I guess.
Yeah.
If it's obviously have the proper foods.
Exactly. So coffee can cause inflammation to some people. Like, on the protocol, I had to stop coffee.
Okay.
I did, yeah.
What do you think, like, how would you explain to someone who doesn't want to cut off forever everything processed? Like, there has to be,
I don't think you should cut it out forever. I mean, we live in this 3D world in 2024. I mean, we're not getting away from processed foods. We're not getting away from alcohol unless we want to. So it's not to cut them out forever, because I don't think that's sustainable. And I think that if you stop things like that, eventually, like, you're going to have a good run, and then eventually you're going to go back and you're going to binge on them. So it's not about eliminating things forever. It's mostly when you're doing your gut restore, yes, this is a crunch time. We are eliminating them because we're trying to heal. Once you're healed and you're back to normal, it's for you to decide what does your balance look like. For me, I really like the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time I eat like on my gut restore plan, and then 20% I eat what I want. Like, I just spent 3 weeks in Africa. I was eating whatever they gave me. I didn't have a lot of options. Like, it was whatever. And I didn't feel guilty about it. I didn't say, oh my God, I'm messing up my gut. No, it is what it is. This is the season I'm in. In 3 weeks, I'll be back home and I'll eat the way I eat. And that's the way to do it. Also, if you look at the 80-20 rule, we have 3 meals per day, generally, for 7 days. That's 21 meals in a week. What's 80% of that? It's about like 18 or 19. So that means you have 4 meals a week where you can eat whatever you want to eat.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good balance.
Yeah, it
Right?
makes sense. It makes sense. So just to get it right, the goal, or at least your approach, is to initially start with a more extreme, really big cleanup in order to restore the peace in your gut microbiome, right? Because probably through, let's say someone was eating, 50-50, right? Didn't eat perfectly or even close to the 80-20. So, half of those meals were home cooked, more healthy, but the rest was like, sandwiches because you're at the office, or pizza or whatever. So then you start off more intensely to restore it, and that's enough, like after a few weeks, to then have that good base that you can still have some of the quote unquote bad foods to still have, to still thrive.
Honestly, it's going to depend, because some people, I mean, they have different backgrounds. They have different chronic disease.
Of course.
If, like, someone like me who was just bloated, I didn't have anything chronic, I didn't have pain. I was just bloated. For me, that was more than enough. In 3 weeks, I changed. Like, my face changed. Like, my clothes, anyways, it was crazy. It was the biggest transformation ever. And mind you, I was not working out. I just literally changed my lifestyle. So yeah, for some people, it's going to be enough. For some other people, like, my gut restore plan is on 3 weeks, so it's on 21 days. And some people, they continue for like another week because they feel so good. They've never felt this good. So they continue. And yeah, but yeah, for most part, I think 3 weeks is good. It's a really good start.
Amazing. Along this journey, before or even now throughout the different years, you have 2 kids, right? What is the greatest battle, and it can be something internal, that you had to fight?
Oof. So it has nothing to do with gut health. It actually has to do with balancing my feminine and masculine energy.
Okay, tell me more.
My whole life, I was very much into my masculine energy, mainly because my parents only valued me when I was performing. So that stuck with me, and it was in my subconscious. I wasn't conscious of it. So I was constantly doing things, trying to, I guess, subconsciously find approval because I'm doing things. And when I got my firstborn, I mean, when you become a mom, things change. And I couldn't just like, I don't want to say do nothing, because as a mom, you do so much, but I couldn't stay in the non-performing. So I went back to work right away, and I was like, I know I need to continue my life, blah, blah, blah. And that was a battle for the past 3 years. And I just gave birth last year to my second one, and that was so different. I was just in my feminine energy, and it was enough for me to just take care of my baby. That, like, I don't know, it was just like, and then I did some inner work, and my masculine and my feminine is still battling because my ego just knows what's safe, right? It's like, do. But it's like, how do you stop? And you know, when you stop, something magical happens. You attract way more. Like, it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense.
Attract what?
Whatever you want. Like, because I stopped working-ish when I got my second kid, I was able to attract even more clients and even more abundance by working less, because that is exactly what the feminine does. It just like magnetizes and attracts. It's crazy.
Amazing.
That was my biggest battle, actually, to love myself when I wasn't performing per se. When I wasn't looking at the numbers, when like my numbers weren't going up, my billings weren't going up. I was just like, I don't want to say like status quo, but sort of, because my whole life I was just valued by how much money I was going to make and how many new contracts I would get. And now I'm like, but that is not my value. So it's reframing those limiting beliefs. My value does not equal the amount of money I make. My value is not equal to all these things. My value, and then you define what's your value. Oh, being there for my kids? Nobody can do that for me. Nobody can do that. But everyone can go make money, and I'll still make the money when it's time to make money. This season is for my kids. And ironically, I've made more money than in other seasons when I had no kids. So it's just like, what? Okay. I'm going to continue like that.
Beautiful. It's fun you mentioned this, because that was one of my big battles too.
No way.
Yeah. And I kind of, through reflection and through digging deeper, I guess I understood the root of it all, because initially, that's, my analysis. But anyways, all the beliefs are based on our experiences and also basically what meaning we give to them, right? So it's the truth for you. So, I came to put a long story short, we came with my parents to Canada as immigrants. It's not easy. You don't have things handed out to you necessarily. So there was, as much as there was a lot of love at home, but there was a lot of pressure.
Same
and
with me.
especially even the view of another generation, even more from communist Poland. Well, literally the only thing that matters, especially for like the life of your kid, is getting proper education and getting proper career to be safe and to be secure, because this is like, it's for your well good, right?
This is copy paste my parents, by the way, because we came from communist Russia.
There you go.
In what year did you guys come here?
In 92.
Okay, we came in 94.
Wow. So I was 5 years old.
Okay.
And then basically I dropped out of school. So I had to prove, in a way, subconsciously, to my mom that I can make it, because I believed I could. But I had to prove it that I can make it without the education that she wanted for me.
At what age did you drop out?
High school, you
No
end up at
way.
like, wait, I finished high school,
Okay,
so
so
like
16.
that's 18.
No, that's 16.
Okay, I
Yeah.
think I'm in the older kind of,
Okay.
in my year. So I think I was 17 when I
Okay.
finished high school. Maybe I'm wrong. But then I did like, 3 years of CJEP, but
Yeah.
like, dropping off. I think I did like 4 colleges.
Okay.
Like kicked out of one, trying another one, part-time type of vibe. So I think it was around like 21, I
Okay.
guess, that maybe 20 that I dropped out. I'm like, no, listen, this is not for me. And so then from there, I needed to show to my mom, look, I can make it without school. So then I had the kind of the hustler syndrome, which is, hustle, 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 to prove my value, to prove that I can make it. And even when, with some time, my mom accepted it or like saw that, I'm actually okay without, a diploma, then it was also to prove to myself because it was kind of interlaced, and I just got used to liking the fact of I'm seen as by others as like, yo, you work hard, eh? And I'm like, yeah, right? Like,
Yeah.
I like it. Like, I want to hear it. And then at some point, I'm like, oh God, like, why? Why is this thing a good thing? Why do I associate value and respect and like, I feel good when I hear this from people, and actually I even want to show them, right? So that's where you kind of, you say things like, yeah, I can't party tonight, I gotta work. And you're waiting for the compliment, quote unquote, that is like, oh man, you're driven, huh? I'm like, yeah, right?
Yeah.
But then, man, you create so many patterns that then you feel guilty even if you rest 5 minutes. So,
Yeah.
I had to obviously go through some process to let it go. And of course, today I still have days that I know I can hustle hard, but I'm one, not driven by any type of like recognition for it. Two, I know this is not a way of life. This is a season,
Yeah.
right? So this is wonderful.
That's beautiful.
Getting deeper than just the body, how it functions, how it works. You've got also into Reiki and energy, like how and why?
Okay, so it's so funny how everything is like just connected. So I started to understand more and more how the body works and how to achieve optimal health. I really thought that by signing up to become a naturopath, I would have like the key that would magically just give me optimal health and that I could give it to all of my clients. And as I started to practice, and I started to take care of my body with movement, with, the right foods, I was like, there's still something missing. I'm like, what is the missing piece? Because my physical body feels healthy. I look amazing, but I'm like, there's something missing. And I was looking to find it. And I was looking for it. I was looking online everywhere. I'm like, what is the missing piece? And my teacher was always about energy. He would always say, guys, forget what you eat. For energy is everything. And I'm like, energy is everything. I'm like, what is energy? What? How? And then, anyways, I just started to experiment things. And I went to see an energy healer. And she was here, I think, yesterday, Sage.
Yes.
I went to see her. I had no expectations. I didn't know anything about it. I just came with an open mind and an open heart. She did her thing. And when I looked at myself after the session, I looked like I was less inflamed. I felt like I lost 10 pounds. And I'm just like, I look different. I'm like, what did you do? She's like, nothing, gotta go. Like, there's the next client. I'm like, I don't like, what happened? And then I booked another session with her in 3 months because that was her next availability. And I'm like, you need to explain what you did. I love it, but I don't know what it is. And then she explained it to me a little bit, but it's so like, it's not black or white. It's very like intrinsic. It's like energy, like it knows no time, it just like, it flows. And yeah, and I started to see her regularly once a month. I was very committed to it, and I started changing made on myself. And then I even did her formation, her training. I was like, okay, I want to add this to my specialty because I could help people with their physical body, but it doesn't stop there. So let me give them a holistic approach where I could help you, like 360 everywhere. And actually, I didn't end up practicing her quantum healing technique because I realized by doing the training, I don't like to touch people. I don't know, that she's like touches a lot. I love to receive it, but I don't like to do it. And then I did Reiki, and I love Reiki. So that right now I'm doing Reiki. And you know what? I feel like the energy component allowed me to reach my optimal health way more than the physical. Like the physical, think about it. It's very easy. if you're really committed and you want to start moving your body and giving it the right foods, it's pretty, I mean, it's simple. I could tell you what to do. You can just blindly do it, right? It's very easy. What's hard is looking at your shadows, looking at the things you don't know about yourself. Tes blessures, your wounds, like all these things. This is the hard work. This is doing the work. So this will ultimately lead you to optimal health, because under the physical body, it's your energetic body. Yeah.
I like that. Mind, body, and soul. Actually, do you know the milkshake study?
No?
Okay, so that's very interesting. In order to show, kind of the link between the mind and the beliefs and physical reaction and physical changes. There was two groups. I might butcher or forget a few details, but there was basically two groups that were given the same milkshake, but one was labeled as this, healthy, rejuvenating, blueberry juice, and the other one was like, McFlurry vibes, like this is the ultimate dessert, like 25,000 calories, 250,000
Decadent.
sugar spoons, like the extreme of a dessert. And it was the same, but the label was different. The two groups were obviously varied enough. It was a scientific study, so they did all the procedures to make sure that it's not like giving one shake to two people and then you draw conclusions from that. So it was a legit study, and they saw not only, the question is not, how the people say they feel, because we could very easily, say that it's logical that someone who just drank a huge, indulging, sugary drink will feel a bit guilty, or maybe like, oh my God, I'm full. And the other one who you're drinking pure health in liquid, it's logical, you will kind of tell yourself that you feel amazing. But they checked levels of insulin, they checked the enzymes in like the digestive system, and the changes were like huge. So the person who thought this was not good for them, this was, a huge dessert, they feel guilty, but they still like it, it tastes good, they had tremendous impact and kind of the counter of benefits. So, whatever word that is. Whereas the other group, they had all the benefits of feeling good, and both groups had the same exact milkshake.
But that's crazy how the mind influences. So last night we had nothing to eat and we ordered pizza. And I knew like it wasn't going to be good for my digestion. But before eating the pizza, I just told my body, you're going to digest this. This is amazing. I love myself. I don't feel guilty. This is going to be amazing. And I was not bloated. Like nothing happened. I still had regular bowel movements. Your intention behind what you do is so important.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll actually add just another story that I found really, really interesting. I think it was back like in the 18th century. It's in a book, if I'm not mistaken, Outliers, maybe in another book. So it's more a story of like, human behavior and everything. But in that case, it's about health. And it was at a time of history that, it was in the United States and the cities were really far away, right? So 18th century-ish. And there was one doctor for like 3 villages. And each village had to travel like, 10, 15, 20 kilometers by horse to get to the one doctor, right? But obviously the villages were probably a few hundred people top. So this is how the society, or at least the rural society, functioned. And the doctor realized at some point, from one village out of those 3, nobody or almost nobody came before like, really older ages, like 60 plus. For any type of problem, right? We're talking like this is one doctor, so probably he treated broken legs, but like back pains and stomach issues, everything, right? And then he's like, from the other villages, people from like all ages come and they have all types of issues. So then with our logic today, we would think that that village was like, super healthy, all, natural food, even though there wasn't probably processed food at that
Yeah.
time, but at least no alcohol, no smoking, exercising, or, they're very well built. It was actually the contrary. Not saying that those things don't matter, of course. I think we have enough data to show that the difference between good food and whole food, and I mean processed food and, all the inflammation, but that village were all coming from the same region of Italy. So they kind of had something in common, and everyone in
They
that
had
village,
community.
yes, they saw each other on the street, they were happy, they invited each other to eat at all times of the day, they drank, they smoked, they didn't exercise, they ate all they wanted, but their mood, how they felt around the food was to the highest level, because the meal, even more for Italians, right? I don't know what's the origin of the other two villages, but the meal was like a moment of celebration,
Yes.
of connection, of happiness with kind of strangers or with your family. So this just, again, to pinpoint that not only the choice of the foods that we have has an impact, but also how we feel even in that 20% or even in the 80%. If you eat an apple and you're like, oh Lord, I have to eat it.
Yeah, no.
It's not the same as if you eat it and you're like, ooh, this is so good. It's crunchy and juicy. And the same with a pizza. This is so whatever a pizza is. It's not crunchy or juicy, but,
It
tasty.
could be juicy. It could be juicy.
Tasty,
Yeah.
So that's very, very
Well,
interesting.
to bring a little parallel to this, so I was reading a book by, she's an MD, so she was a medical doctor that comes from, like, her whole family has a medical background. And she saw, like, a flaw in the Western system where, like, she's like, oh, I don't think we were getting to the root cause. So she went, like, against her family, against everything, and she became, I don't have the right word, but she became some sort of, like, functional doctor or holistic doctor. And so meaning that you don't only look at the symptom, you look at everything, at the body as a whole. And she was in San Francisco where people were very, very healthy, but they would come to her office and they had like a bunch of inflammation and anxiety and all of that. And when she looked at their questionnaire, she's like, I don't get it. You work out with a personal trainer 5 times a week. You are vegan. You eat this. You have your shake. She's like, I don't understand why you guys are sick. And she realized that they were so stressed. They were so overworked. And like the nervous system overrules your digestive and all the other systems. And these people were chronically sick, but they had the best lifestyle, quote unquote. And that's crazy, no? That is so crazy that some people are so stressed to be so healthy that they end up being sick. And then you have the guy who lives in the village who has 1 bottle of wine per meal, who eats the pasta, but he's so happy, he's stress-free, he has a community. Also these people in San Francisco, the ones that came to her, they were very lonely. They were like successful, they were rich, but they're alone at the end of the day, and that plays a huge role in your health.
Yes. So I love how, as much as, nutrition is one of the foundations of human health, but how also the spirit and the mind is almost above that.
It is.
It's incredible. But that's why, again, this is the mission of Warrior Growth Academy. This is the mission of all the instructors that are on the platform. You are part of that mission with one specific area. And I think by combining, those elements, not looking for perfection, just looking for incremental improvements, we can feel so good.
Yeah.
And sleep well and wake up in the morning, and whatever we eat, we feel blessed and the food tastes good, and you can feel it when what I just described.
Yeah.
This is basically the outcome that everyone who does anything, diet, exercise, wants. But this is how you get there.
Yeah, and if you look at the blue zones, right, all these different people have a different diet.
Yeah.
One has a Mediterranean, or, you know, and they're all the ones that live the longest. And the common denominator is really their community. They feel safe. They never lock their doors. Like if you have to leave, your kid is safe with the neighbor. If you didn't have time to prepare the food, you can just show up. You don't knock. This is priceless. This is real abundance. This is real life. This is real health.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is there anything we didn't mention today that you wanted to mention before we go?
No, I think we did a pretty good job.
We did, eh?
We did a good job.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Zelata, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for being part of this mission and on the platform. Make sure to check out her class on gut health with very simple tips. This is not a regimen only for the people who want to have the body of a Hulk. This is just simply little incremental improvements in order to feel better and be better inside and outside. And make sure to subscribe to the channel in order to not miss those amazing conversations. I'll see you at the next one.